All right, guys, welcome back to the channel. I just wanted to give you kind of an update, and I try to just give you some information as I think about different things that I carry, use as tools every day. And we got some new stuff going on here, and I kind of want to share my past experiences with kind of what I've carried as far as these pocket flashlights, and kind of let you know, kind of give you some information that might help you make a decision whether you want to buy a bigger pocket flashlight or a smaller pocket flashlight, and give you kind of some perspective on kind of the real true world use of these kind of things. So let's start off with the smaller lights, and I'm going to kind of give you kind of a history of where I'm at with these. So I've had these STREAMLIGHTs for about 4 years. I'll give you some history also on the Olight Warrior 3 X3. I've had this one about 2 years. These about 4 years, 3 or 4 years. I think 4 years is probably better, more accurate. But I've carried these a whole lot. This, I only use it for more specific use cases, and I'll kind of go into that, because when I'm buying flashlights, I don't want to have 20 that are almost identical to this size, even though I think this size, these two sizes are the most practical, make the most sense, because they can cover a lot of different range of reasons for carrying and what you need, you know, for both longer range identifying and closer up identifying. These cover a wider range than these two. You know, this is a little too bulky. This is a little too small to do sometimes what you need. So these two are more in the range of kind of what I like as far as every day, you know, being able to cover most of your scenarios. I think this size is perfect. But let's go into this and we'll talk about them a little bit. So this STREAMLIGHT, this is the micro stream USB. Some pros and cons to this. A pro would be, you know, it's only 250 lumens, but you know, its size and weight is like you don't even notice it's in your pocket. So that is a definite pro to this little light right here. It's hard to beat a light that you can throw in your pocket and it feels smaller than like an ink pen, and that's kind of what this does. So what I would say this is for, and let me kind of cover this too. I've probably carried this light you know, well over 100 times. Let's just say somewhere in that range, as far as like, I've carried it a lot. So I have carried it a lot, but not probably as much as this one. But I do carry this one quite a bit. You can see it has some wear on it, and I don't mind that. This is just a tool. But I guess as far as pros, like, it's just super lightweight. It's super easy to carry around. It's super easy to use. We're not reviewing this flashlight. I'm just telling you kind of why it's nice to have a light this size. I think everybody should have a light this size. And, you know, its cons is it does charge with the old USB. So this ain't the USB-C. I wish it was USB-C. I think everything should be USB-C because it's easier to charge. Most phones charge with USB-C now, and tablets and stuff. So I think that would be a better option for these particular lights. It's just not bright enough for certain applications, and we'll go into that. This light is good for, you know, you're going to the store, or you're going to your building and you're looking anywhere from like 25 feet or closer. A light like this is perfect and all you need. But when you start stretching out beyond, say, 25 yards, this becomes pretty much useless for anything. And so that's why I think as an EDC, it does have its limitations. So if you know what you're doing and it's all close range, just seeing what you're doing, trying to see in dark situations for you personally, you're not really worried about threats in the distance or anything, you know, this is plenty adequate for that. So, and a lot of times that's all people need is something like this. But on the other side of that, you can get something slightly larger that's way more powerful of a tool for, you know, identifying targets at 200 yards or maybe even longer, you know. So just adding a little bit of size, a little bit bigger battery, a little bit more weight, then your options are now open a lot larger for what you can do with that light. So that's why I really do recommend these sizes. If you're going to buy one flashlight, I would say buy something in this size range. Now these two lights are a lot different. We'll go into that too. And the newer, the newer generations of lights are better always than the old generations. The technology keeps evolving. We've come so far in the last 20 years as far as flashlights. It's unbelievable. From the 90s to now, I mean, it's completely, it's completely different world in the realm of flashlights. So yeah, I mean, these lights are so great now. It's crazy how good they are. Even some of the Chinese lights would blow the very best American-made lights from the 90s out of the water as far as size, weight, power. I mean, it's just unbelievably, by 100-fold, sometimes the Chinese lights will beat the American-made. Now, I'm not saying to buy Chinese. I'm just saying there is good American-made lights and there's good Chinese lights now, but there's also bad probably of both. So, but I've carried this a lot. This has been a good light. Is yet to go bad. This one right here, let me say this first. This is 250 lumens on bright. It's 50 on low. This is 500 lumens on bright, and it's 50 on low. And your run times vary based off what you're running it at. I have carried this one the most, 500 lumens. I carried it the most because I've probably had this one the longest of these four. So that's one of the reasons, and it does come in more handy than something like this. I can identify targets a little bit further than this. So for like church security, which I do a lot when I carry these, this one makes a lot more sense than that one. However, this one recently, the battery has went bad, so I can plug it in to charge and the light will work. But for some reason, the battery is just not holding a charge anymore. It needs to be replaced. The battery's about $15, and that is the reason why I've got this next light. And because for twice the price of this battery, I got this new light, and it's quite a bit more powerful. So this is 500 lumens, 50 lumens on low, 500 on high. And I do like it. It does cover most of my needs. But if you can get something almost the same size, this right here is a THRUNITE from Amazon. And this one goes up to a little over 1900 lumens on bright, which is fantastic for a light this size. Now, you could probably find brighter lights than this at this size, but for what you get at the price you're getting it, the durability, the features, the battery size, just all the options you get with this light, it's really going to be hard to find something better than this right here. So yeah, so looking at it, you see this is 500 lumens. This is over 1900 lumens on bright. This THRUNITE is a little bit shorter, and it is thicker in the main battery compartment of the light, but it's also not much thicker at all, or not much wider at all. In kind of the front area of the light, it's not much wider at all. So in the pocket, it feels about the same as this one, but it's almost 4 times as bright. So that's pretty impressive to me. I think this right here is a great light. Once I carry it for a few months, I may give y'all an update on this one. Pros of this one over that one is it is USB-C rechargeable as well. I do like the charging system of the STREAMLIGHT better, as far as it's waterproof and you pull that off and you close it and seal it back up. I do prefer this system, but you definitely pay for it because this light costs more than this one when I bought it, and this one's way more powerful. So although I prefer the charging system as far as the way it closes up and seals on that one better, I prefer the way that this one charges with USB-C. It's just more practical for me. So it still seals up tight, but it's not quite, as good of a closed up system. I think that could be knocked open or something. So the STREAMLIGHT maybe have a little bit better quality as far as how it closes up. But this one's great, and it also has a magnetic back, so you can use it in your car hood or something like that. If you was stuck on the side of the road, needed something to look in your hood, it does have that feature as well. So this will stick to anything that you need it to. Of course, it won't stick to aluminum, but if I had something to show you, let's see. So there's kind of, for example, sticking this magazine. But it is very strong. It will stick to stuff so that you can use that for multiple different applications, which I think is really, really cool as well. And yeah, I'm really excited about this. I've only used it for about a week. I bought it because we had a Bible camp for boys and girls this weekend, and this one went bad, and I wanted something I could carry the whole time, so I kind of rushed to get this one, and I've been wanting this one for a while, so I thought it's time to go ahead and try it out since the battery was dead on this one. So, as far as the distance you can use these type of things for, I would say you're looking at, 0 feet to about 40 yards max with something like this. And it's not going to be very good at 40 yards, but it can probably stretch out that far. I'm telling real world usage based off what I've seen, not what the specs are saying. Something like this, 0 feet to 100 yards, maybe, you might stretch out 100 yards with this. It's pretty good. A light like this one, 0 all the way up to maybe 250 yards, you can get a little bit of illumination. None of these lights have a really good beam on them, as far as like they have more of a floodlight and not as much of a beam. They do have a little bit of a beam, but not much. And that's where we're going to get into this one, and when we talk about it. I do like having a light with a bigger, kind of a bigger face on it, a bigger reflector on it, because they tend to do better for several reasons. I mean, of course, like the more space you have, of course, the more light you can spread, and probably the more lumens you're going to put off. But this one also has a really good beam on it, so that makes it really, really handy. It's still lightweight. I mean, I would say this one weighs maybe 50% more than this one does, so not quite double, because the batteries are very similar. But with this one, you get 2,500 lumens. Like I said, this is a little over 19. 2,500 lumens. You get about the same flood as this one, but you get a better long distance beam. So, say at like 300 yards, I get a beam that's about the width of a more controlled, concentrated beam that's probably the width of like 30 feet at 300 yards. So, it can light up a 30-foot area pretty well at 300 yards. Whereas these other lights just don't have quite that capability. Can I see something at 300 yards with this one? Yes, I can see something. But can I really identify that something? It'd be kind of hard to do. I could see something was there. I could see something moving. But if I was wanting to identify somebody at 300 yards, it would be hard to do with any of these flashlights besides this one. So I think that, and what I did when I went to our church camp, and we have about 70 acres, and so for farms or large church security detail with a lot of property or things, farms, even if you're security for a large pavilion, a large corporation that has a lot of land, I would suggest having something like this. But I carried both of these, this one at night for kind of trying to make sure that there was nothing going on in the dark areas where there shouldn't be nobody at. And this one I carried all day, so I would use this one for most things, but when I was doing my security parameter checks and stuff like that for a camp, I was using this quite a bit. And I really did enjoy, how powerful. I never did find myself really needing a more powerful flashlight. Would a more powerful flashlight be nice to have sometimes? I mean, sure. Would I've liked to have had more powerful flashlight? Yeah. But it would have been hard to carry something more powerful, because they definitely make some more powerful, but this one did everything I needed it to do, and it still fits in your pocket, and you don't feel like you're carrying another gun, let's say. So something like this, you don't feel like you're carrying two weapons. If you get much bigger than this, you're going to start feeling like you're carrying a whole nother weapon, and I don't really want to do that. So there you go, guys. If you have any questions or comments, let me know. I know it's kind of vague. I'm trying to talk more real world use for these kind of videos. I don't want to just give you specs, because you can go look up individual reviews of all these flashlights and you'll see, more specifics. But sometimes, I think the real world, hey, I've used this here, I've used this there. This is what I like, this is what I don't like. I think these two lights are a great combination. If you've got more than, say, 4 or 5 acres you're trying to secure, having an extra flashlight like this in your vehicle that you can pull out occasionally is great, and carrying something like this should be adequate enough. If you've got really large properties, your security detail for really large corporations and land and high acreage stuff. You know, something like this is really nice to have, or something larger even would come in handy. But yes, like I said, keeping something like this in the car and then pulling it out when you're wanting to do kind of a perimeter check or whatever is nice to have. I'll probably never go with something this small again as far as buying it. I'll keep this one as long as it lasts, and maybe the batteries are cheaper on this one because I would like to keep this one for a while. But as far as using every day, this is going to be great. I think I'm going to let you know about the long terms of this thing and just let you know how well it runs and how tough it is. God bless. Have a great day. Please like and subscribe. Please ask questions below. Yeah, these have been used in the real world, and I've got to see not just a review. I've not just reviewed these in my backyard. I'm actually using them in the real world and on big properties that I've got to use them to identify people and things. So I kind of really know how this really works and what these are good for. So I'm trying to give you all that impression of what they do in the real world. So yeah, guys, please like and subscribe. Please comment. I would like to hear what you guys think. If you have any other flashlights you would like to see reviewed on the channel that's budget price range, maybe let me know, because if it's something really, really cool out there, I might add one to my collection. Who knows? But flashlights are one of the most important things that you can have. I mean, I can't emphasize how important it is for us to be able to identify, threats and targets, and to know something's there, in the dark before it gets to us. Things like that is so important. It's way more important than just carrying a gun without a light and not knowing what's there and wait until it's right upon you. That's a little too late, I think. So important to have the ability to identify what's around you. God bless. Have a great day. I'll talk to you later.